Hello YouTube, RevoMax 12 here. So you have a classic Mini T from 2003, but you can't run it anymore because the stock or replacement tires that you got are all bald and worn out. And RevoMax 12 has bought all of the other spares on eBay. Quite the conundrum. You have this amazing classic car. You've put a ton of time and effort and money, upgrades, nostalgia into it, and you can't run it. Well, 6 years ago, I did a video seeing if you could run the 2.0 Mini T 2.0 tires and wheels on the classic, and I discovered there's a little problem with the offset. So fast forward to 6 years and voila, problem solved. This is a car from 2004 and these are brand new wheels and tires that I bought yesterday, and it's 2026. So in this video I'm going to show you how I have adapted these modern mini scale wheels and tires and got these to fit onto my classic Mini T from 2004, and they run perfectly with no issues whatsoever. So right away you're going to notice that there is a size difference ever so slightly between the original Mini T wheels and tires and the replacement solution that I have found. This is a Mini T 2.0 wheel and tire setup, but for all intents and purposes the same dimensions as a classic, just with a different offset. Side by side here, my replacement tire is this D-Boots Fortress tire by Arma. It's made for one of their mini trucks. I will link that part number in the video here for you guys as well. The main thing I was looking at for this wheel, which makes it work, is the offset and style. So from the back side, you'll notice a couple differences here. This offset, as I discussed in my video 6 years ago, much more recessed, which causes a rubbing issue on the shock tower assembly and A-arm of the classic. This one, a much shallower offset, and you'll also notice that this is a short course style wheel as well. So you have a lot more clearance on the back side of the wheel here, and the combination, I guess, of the less recessed hub adapter as well as the larger diameter there means that you can mount these with no rubbing issues whatsoever. The other major consideration here is this is an 8mm hex adapter, and the hex adapter on this Arma wheel is a 12mm. So this is what I'm running on my other trucks from 10 years ago, because that's what was common for the 10th scale trucks at the time. Now it's 17mm or something, but the point being, you go from 8mm to 12mm, so you're going to get a lot more durability there. The only consideration now is how are you going to get a 12mm hex onto the original Mini T components here. So of course we'll pop the old fronts off here. Now the front has historically been kind of hard for me to find replacements for because it uses this in-wheel bearing set. So you have a wheel bearing in the front, there's a second bearing on the inside, and you can see there's a super shallow offset there as well. And then this just kind of attaches directly to that little spindle, and you just tighten it down with the wheel nut, and don't tighten it down too tight or else it's gonna crunch the bearing and it's not gonna spin. So it's pretty primitive, and up to this point, like, who's making this anymore? You can't find these anywhere, and it's really an archaic design. The hex is a much superior design. Now, of course, the good news is we know that the bearing inside of this wheel fits perfectly onto this part here. So that's kind of what you're looking for as far as bearing size if you were to fit a ball bearing onto the front. Luckily, my local hobby store had this Losi Mini T full bearing kit. So I bought this just for an assortment to kind of see what was going to work. I came up with this size of bearing right here, and I will link that size in the video once I figure out what it is. But this is the exact same bearing, so you want to get a new bearing if you're going to do this. Just might as well give your wheel a good shot from the get-go. The next vital component for this conversion to run these bigger modern 12mm hex is you're going to need this 12mm aluminum hex system for the Mini T and Mini B 2.0. I got this on A-Main Hobbies. It's a Hot Racing is the maker of this. I forget how much it costs, but I'll link that for you guys as well. So this is the front set. It's got this hollow, recessed 8mm hex cutout. So the idea is on the 2.0 that you slip this over the 8mm adapter, and there you go. You got a 12mm, easy peasy. You can run those tires no problem. We don't have that here, so we're gonna have to fill this hole somehow to stabilize this and get it on the front hub. That's where my friendly bearing comes in. So this actually will press directly into that 8mm slot inside this adapter, which is crazy, but it works. Yes, it's janky, and you might say Revo Max 12, what if that bearing gets stuck in there? Well, I've already been through it, and I was able to get one of the old bearings back out again. I think it's worth the risk to run these old Mini Ts again without doing any permanent damage to any of these other components that you can't replace. I mean, you can always buy a 12mm adapter, you can always buy a new bearing, you can't always buy the super specialty small plastic pieces from 20 plus years ago. Okay, so that's kind of the trade-off that you're looking at here. So long story short, you're going to kind of line up your bearing and press it in there. There you go. It goes in pretty easily and it fits completely flush. There we go. So now we've solved the problem of adapting this 12mm hex onto the front drive pin there. And this is a massive problem that I couldn't solve for years and years, and I'm so excited to say that this works. So here we go. Slip it on. Okay, there you have it. You have a 12mm front hex on your Mini T. Okay, there you go. We got it on there. And you'll notice that there is still plenty of thread hanging out on the end of that, so you can still tighten down with the original wheel lock nut, and there's going to be no risk of your nut coming off and losing your wheel when you're running it. Completely valid solution, and it works just as well as anything that I've seen or heard of from anyone else on the internet. This is what I'm going to be running on both of my classic Mini Ts, and I'm probably going to be picking up this set as well to run on my Mini T 2.0. That way I can have a whole option parts of different 12mm hex wheel and tires, unless you're willing to scour the internet for these super old school pieces. Your best bet's going to be these modern guys right here, widely available, cheap, and you're going to have better quality out of these, longer tread life. Perfect if you're just a basher like me, running the street or like the baseball diamond. Now, one other thing that I am running here, I didn't show this to you guys, but I got these PTFE coated washers just from $3 from my local hobby shop as well. Stick one of these washers on, thread it on there before you put on your ball bearing adapter there. So I did put these on both my rear and my front wheels that I've done on my example side there. Now for the rear, of course, it's a little bit different. It's gonna have the pin setup like we said earlier in the video. Everyone's familiar with this. This is a lot easier to find, or at least it used to be in Adapt than the front. You got the pin here. Same thing, I'm gonna go ahead and pop this little pin out, stick one of those Traxxas washers behind there. And once again, these are all completely stock components that I'm running on the lower arm setup of this Mini T. There's absolutely nothing different about this except for, of course, the shocks, which I did cover in my other video. These are the 2.0 oil-filled shocks. Same thing, I don't know if other wheels and tires would work as well, because these have such a small, like the 12mm hex is not, it's not super like tall, kind of short. So even though this is a little bit of a thicker hex hub adapter, there we go. It still slots on there, and you have plenty of room to tighten down your hex nut there. There you guys have it. Let's bolt up all four and I'll show you how she looks, and we'll do a final wrap up. All right guys, there you have it. Works great. Of course, you can adjust the tightness to offset if there's any sort of binding issues on this. But you can get these to spin pretty freely there. This is looking awesome, all four corners, and let's just complete the look here. There you go guys, new life into your classic Mini Ts, these 20-year-old plus cars for those enthusiasts still out there who like to run these vehicles. Hopefully this video helps you guys out and can help you breathe some new life into your classic cars. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Comment below any questions, thoughts, concerns, anything like that about my setup that I use. I'll be happy to help you out. And sorry that it took 6 years to come out with the sequel. All right, thanks for stopping by.